Hello, Professor Woods. Today I will present the two pieces of art that stood out to me when observing the Virtual Museum of Lackma. The first piece I decided to analyze is the Untitled Shafted by Barbara Kruger. This piece caught my attention because of at the time of writing my student critique analysis, we have just completed Chapter 9 of Advertising and submitted our forum discussion post for the Nike ad campaign Just Do It. Our Nike ad campaign assignment focused on how ads are promoted in today's culture and our representation towards women and minorities, while Kruger's piece, Untitled Shafted, illustrates the use of advertising text and sensational phrasing that critiques consumerism, misogyny, power, and desire. I believe that our illustration of consumerism applies to our current culture by creating the piece to be huge and overwhelming, like ads in today's world. An example to this would be my experience when watching the UFC fight 268. During the fight, I remember watching the advertisement for Modelo, which covered the whole screen while the had already begun. The ad bombarded the broadcast of the event the same way the entitled Shafted bombards you with messages of consumerism. The advertisement playing during the round makes it seem like consumerism outweighs entertainment, which completely disrespects not only the sport, but the people who enjoy the sport. The art piece almost feels like a collage, with bold text either being parallel or perpendicular. In the middle, there's a man with a face next to text. If you want a picture of the future, imagine a boot stomping a human face forever. The colors being black, white, and red create a strong and bold message to the observer of the piece. The color reminds me of Nazi propaganda that was used during the wars. The color provides a sense of command with a cold stare of the man's face at the bottom of a man's shoe. The black and white speaks for itself of the reality of the situation that we face as a society. The reality that we all are consumers and we're seen as nothing more than a potential dollar sign for somebody else. The spacing between every single part of the text is squashed, creating an overwhelming amount of text to read. It is so squished together that some text is written horizontally and vertically. I believe that the reason behind this sort of spacing is to show how ads are forced into our everyday lives in any way possible. In LACMA, the piece is located on a 3-story, 94-foot elevator shaft. It is a large-scale digital print wall installation. This use of space can also be seen how it's placed on the elevator shaft in order to symbolize once you enter the elevator shaft, it surrounds you, how advertising surrounds us. The second piece I chose to analyze is Robert Irwin's Miracle Mile, which to me is a very creative and visually pleasing work of art. Miracle Mile is composed of 66 fluorescent tubes. The work stretches the length of approximately 36 feet and can be experienced both from within and beyond the gallery walls. In today's culture, fluorescent lights are mostly found in offices and schools. These locations are connected with long, restless hours of hard work, but this piece shows instead the beauty of fluorescent lights. The piece is able to take such a simple concept of mass-produced fluorescent lights, which surrounds our everyday lives, can be turned into visually pleasing art. We as people give the value to everything in this world. It is up to our own perception to find true beauty in the world around us. Since our country's economic system is capitalism, many people in today's culture are only focused on money. The idea that money equals power drives the motivation of people to work non-stop, with money being the only goal in sight. In reality, money is the root to all evil, with every single problem that someone faces can be connected to money. The piece of art encourages the appreciation of aesthetic value of life instead of monetary value. Since Miracle Mile is fully made up of fluorescent lights, the lines are present in the art consistently of vertical lines of fluorescent lights throughout the wall. The colors range from blue, red, white, yellow, and green, shining in different brightnesses. The colors offer sort of a futuristic sci-fi aesthetic, encouraging the perception of the piece to the viewer of the art. The fluorescent lights are evenly spaced throughout the wall, but the different brightness of the lights give the illusion of brighter tubes being bigger and dimmer tubes being smaller. Depending on what angle you look at Miracle Mile, the spacing changes to creating a different appearance. If you look at Miracle Mile from one side to the other, the fluorescent lights look closer together, leaving little to no space between each light. I believe that it wasn't such a coincidence that the pieces change depending on what the angle it it's being observed at. The perception of the art changes depending on what angle, distance, and darkness the observer happens to view the art in. The meaning behind Miracle Mile focuses on the perception and experience of the observer. The focus on perception and experience of the art teaches people to find beauty in everything. Just like Irwin states, we perceive, we shape the world, and as artists we discover and give value to our human potential to see the infinite richness in everything, creating an extended aesthetic reality.